How's it going, everyone? It is Sunday, August 4th, 2024. Bit of a different video today. I'm going to give some good D1 picks that I found on both the bullish side and the bearish side. So the reason I'm making this video is on Friday, I posted a video regarding a potential bearish transition. I laid out some of the reasons we saw technically, kind of the outcome of the news after the dust has settled. So we're getting some technical indications that we might see some weakness for at least the foreseeable future. My inclination is that we could see some weakness all the way up till the election results. Certainly some seasonal weakness potentially into play, although certainly and potentially should not really be used in the same sentence. But we have some technical breakdown, some seasonal weakness. So we have an opportunity to get into some swing shorts. And I was just looking for stocks that could present some really nice opportunities. I was analyzing some stocks that were good swings in the past. What are some of those characteristics? And in my search, I put together a list of 27 stocks that I liked here. So we're just going to go quickly through that list. Now, before I get into that, I just want to go over my search and how I did this. So I have this search, which I'm going to use in air quotes, called liquid options. And this is not really a bullish or a bearish search. It's just stocks that have price above 10, decent option liquidity, weekly options, and they're not ETF. You can even put in an ATR of 2 and an average daily volume of 1,000. If you want to narrow that list down a little bit more, you cut out a little bit of fat here, about 10% of stocks, which gets you some movers, so you can save that scanner. And once I had that list, I was actually just filtering by sectors, and I was just kind of going sector by sector, seeing what was looking good, what was looking weak, what was looking strong, and so on. So we're just kind of going through some of those and finding some good picks across a wide variety of sectors. So first, let's get into the bullish picks. I'm not advocating trading on the long side, but I think is a potential opportunity setting up if you wanted to take a very short-term play on some longs. So let's go over some very nice, strong stocks at first. RTX, nice post-earnings bull, holding all the gains while the market has been moving lower. MMM, if I had to go long on any stock, it would probably be this stock. You can see how we've just been compressing, holding all the gains here above our AVWAP-E, digesting this move. It may need some more time to digest this move, considering that this was a massive move for a stock that is not really a huge, I mean, it's industrials, but it's not like, they make a lot of consumer products and abrasives and adhesives and all that kind of stuff. So not a stock that makes these massive moves up. Guild, you can see, is grinding up higher, moves up higher, pulls back to its 8 EMA, moves up higher, pulls back. So you can see it's compressing over here while this market's moving lower. Didn't drop with the market. Setting alert here at the top. You could buy a little breakout. LMT, strong move post-earn. It might be weakening here. It's a little bit out of the gate for my taste, but still very strong stock. ASTS, as we're in. Beautiful compression. Holding above its 8 EMA. Not really falling down with the market. I think with any sort of tailwind, we might see a bit of a launch off. J&J, another healthcare stock, moving up higher as we saw some rotations into healthcare and staples. McDonald's, you see we put in this nice little bottom here. We're getting through the SMAs, a little bit of horizontal resistance in the way. I think, honestly, if you took a CDS on Friday, I think that would have been set up really nicely for a CDS. Abbott, also very nice, getting through that level here, a nice bottoming out pattern. TJX, it's pulling back a little bit. It's still strong, but it's not super strong. And I think AIG, AIG is kind of cracking down. The last one that was decent here is ISRG. Post-earns here, not really doing a whole lot. It's not super strong. Well, I mean, it is strong relative to what's happening, but I think there are better picks on the long side. So there's a couple of longs over here. My favorite, MMM, MCD are probably my two favorite picks here. ASTS, not really in that conversation because we already have it. Let's look at what I like on the short side. And now on the short side, I was looking for kind of a specific rolling over and topping pattern. So we're going to see if we can find that. JPM is a nice breakdown. I know Pete took that pick. For me, I want to see something maybe a little bit more of a crackdown here. We do have this upward sloping trend line coming up. I like to see a break of those channels and have a bit more of that topping formation. But you can see this relative weakness is coming here. We're starting to dip in a little bit. So I do think that this can continue. I like Wells Fargo, though. I like this a lot better as a short. You can see that we have, first of all, a much longer period of compression, broke through a very major point of compression. And we had this kind of a topping out formation, a little triple top, I guess head and shoulders if you are watching for that price pattern, but really broke through. We couldn't get anything going. We got a test here. And this is just a whole, I don't know, 3 months of just doing absolutely nothing while the market was roaring up higher. So I like this breakdown. I want to see it get below that 200-day SMA. If I look at my alerts, I do not have an alert on there. So we're going to create an alert. And then if it can, actually, I'll just set an alert at the low of the day right here. Now, I do expect a lot of these stocks to pull back this week and the market to pull back a little bit this week, maybe retest that 8 EMA. Same thing with this stock, have it retest that 8 EMA, and then we can get down lower. A lot of these stocks are setting up, but I don't think the entry is quite there. mRNA is very, very weak. Look at all these breakdowns on the trend lines through all the SMAs here. And we had this move up through this level, and you can see that it started to fail much before the market started to top off. We had about 2 months of just failure. And then we finally got the crackdown from earnings. And it might be a little bit of extra volatility from earnings. So again, not a play that I will get in right away, but I'm going to create an alert, and this is going to be LRSI H1 less than 80. I'm actually going to save this as a template. Create new template. H1. Actually, do I have an H1 pullback on here? Okay, I do not. So let's create a new template. Okay. mRNA, nice move out the gate. Oracle is probably one of my favorite shorts right now. Now, it's still a little bit relatively strong to the market. It's being dragged down a little bit here, but I would love to see Oracle show some weakness on the next couple of days if the market stages a bounce. So that's what I'm watching for here. I love this compression. Post earnings, really couldn't get anything going. We're kind of into the gap here. Tested this level, holding up a little bit, just doing pretty much nothing for the whole day. So I'd love to see another retest of this gap, maybe a little retest of this SMA, some tails above bodies, and then we can get that next leg lower on Oracle. I'd love to see some sort of move like this where we just kind of fill in the gap here. And that'd probably be my target. With the market tailwind, I think we could even get through that 100-day SMA. MRK, nice pick here, breaking through that compression. Some post-earnings volatility. You can see that it bounced up these this upward sloping trend line here to this 8 EMA. We're still finding some tails above bodies. And if we zoom out here, there's a pretty major upward sloping trend line. So what I would like to see for this setup to manifest is that the market, again, stages a bounce, and then MRK can't get off the deck, and it's just right on that trend line. That tells us that the selling pressure is heavy. With any sort of market tailwind, we can actually break through, and then we can get a nice little flush out, and then get in that next leg lower. So Snow, nice breakdown. Let's zoom out a little bit here. So first of all, we are through. This is a pretty major D1 level, in my opinion. You can see that there is some lots of big reversals at this point, so I was cautious of shorting Snow at this level. We also have some support coming from over here, so I think it's a decent short. I think a PDS, if you time it right, would be a lot better, but I still like this setup. Not my favorite one, but still pretty decent. SE is a very nice topping pattern. So we get this move up here, 1, 2, 3, a little bit of a triple top here, break through this horizontal support, test, and then we get the other leg lower. Earnings on 8/13, so don't have a ton of time. It could set up for maybe like a shorter term swing earlier in the week. Keep an eye out for those earnings though. VRT, I think, is a much better opportunity. So again, we get that topping formation here, get a little bit higher. And then in the last couple of months, the stock was grinding down lower, unable to get off the deck while the market was rallying higher. So you can see we have from May 24th all the way to earnings on July 3rd, 23rd. This is what the market was doing. Maybe I can actually put up the SPY overlay. Might be helpful. Oh, we got a crash. Okay, I'm going to pause the video. We'll get this back online. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Just some of the kinks of the beta, the beta that we're on. So occasionally happens from time to time, but should not be a problem in the live version. I talked about VRT again, right? This topping pattern, how it's coming down. Nice steady grind, and then it starts to break down. Now, VRT is a pretty choppy stock. You can see that we get the breakout. We're always retesting these breakout levels, right? Breakout, retest, and then we kind of compress for a while. So there's no reason to chase the stock. I'd love to get in near the 8 EMA or a candle off of the 8 EMA. Then we can get that next leg lower. RCL, beautiful breakdown. So see how in this case versus JPM, we actually got the breakdown through this trend, right? Here's our breakdown, lower high, new low, and then we got follow through today. These cruise stocks tend to be very trendy, and then they reverse, right? So we get a sharp trend one way, sharp trend the other way, sharp trend one way, the other way, and then we're kind of grinding up here. And now we're getting the first stages of a potential trend reversal. So we know after a big move, right, we're going to pull back here. Again, wait for that pullback to the 8 EMA. Let's create an alert. Alert from template. Create alert. Template. Bear. Save. Nice. That's going to be helpful. Dell. Beautiful breakdown on Dell. So first post earnings move here, and you can see that we actually preserved about half of this gap over here. Unable to get through, and then we start to leak lower, and with a little bit of market tailwind, we're able to crack through all of these SMAs. Dell's already made a pretty decent move. Tech has already been kind of the first one to go down. I like it a lot here. This is one of my favorite picks. We have some time before earnings. I'd want to see Dell just kind of maybe test the SMA 200 a couple of times. Maybe we could get a couple of tails, and then we can get something going. I'm also, let me see my alerts here. I'm also going to create an alert. All right, cost, we had our eye on this for a while. Also starting to leak lower. Didn't leak this last leg, so that tells me that there's some buying coming into consumer defensive that kind of propped it up. So I'd want to see some more weakness come back in on any sort of market bounce, and then we'll get that next leg lower. But you can see how it cracks down, compresses, cracks down, compresses. So I think we're getting fairly close to the next leg of cracking down. I just want to see a little bit more relative weakness in this stock. D-Dog, very nice breakdown in D-Dog. And this is a very much longer term support coming into play. So we see how we have horizontal support here, as well as this upward sloping low plus trend line also coming here. And we are testing those levels. So same deal as MRK. We want to see this stock kind of hug these levels here and not really get off the deck while the market bounces. And then when the market starts to roll over, we can get that next leg lower. And if that happens, I think D-Dog will be a very nice short. Certainly a choppy stock here. Security has seen some weakness, especially off of the crowd selling. I like the setup quite a bit, though. HPQ, kind of a similar pattern to Oracle. We have this double top here, lower high, getting through horizontal support. Could be resistance now. We have some time before earnings. We have some room to this gap fill here. There's not as much room as I would have liked. I think with the market tailwind, again, we could break through these, but it's not the one I'm super crazy about right now. Still decent. Qualcomm, very nice. Time before earnings too. The only thing that's kind of catching my eye here is that if you're going to short semis, there's quite a bit of semis earnings coming up. We can actually go this. If we go to this, we can actually see this if we go to our semis and just check out the earnings coming up. So SMCI is coming up, AVGO, Marvel, Nvidia, obviously. MU's coming up later. So some semis earnings this month, which means you got to be a little bit more careful. I just wait to see if they react. Certainly Nvidia earnings will be something that can cause a reaction. And that has been a market moving earnings release for the past several earnings, or for many of the earnings dating back to 2023. So that's what to keep in mind for the semi earnings. But technically, I think this is an excellent play. We get the move down lower, test that 8 EMA, move down lower, test the 8 EMA, some earnings volatility. We start to break through. I just wait for the 8 EMA to catch up a little bit, give me a couple days of rest. See some buyers try to, some profit takers coming over here, some bottom fishers. And that should get us that next leg lower. All right. We have Ulta. Beautiful breakdown in Ulta. I think this is certainly going to continue. We are through a fairly major level. There is a little bit of, support coming. Oh my gosh. I zoomed out pretty far on this guy. There is some support coming here. I'm always just wary of these like very high volume, sharp candles that are coming into play here. And what I'd actually do is go to Ulta here and just see how it looks and see where we have our price line, which is very helpful. Okay, there we go. So first of all, you can see that we have some very high volume candles coming in here. So there are going to be some buyers. Just want to be cognizant of that. And I'm just drawing a lot of these lines here. This will mark a congestion zone. So all these lines here, you know, this tells me that, look, if we're going to break through this level, we're going to need the stock to be very weak, and we're going to need a market tailwind. If we get those two things, that's what we need in order to really break through. A lot of these levels here, you can see, are testing some of this resistance slash, or I guess it's now support, but it was resistance all the way back from 2021. The stock made a big move, and there were sellers here. We broke through that level. We got some retests, and then you can see that buyers came in and supported the move when it dropped down pretty far. So I would watch over here. There's a bit of a congestion zone, and I'd want Ulta to clear this. It certainly can, though. It happened with Lulu, so would not rule it out of the picture. That is simply just a word of caution, I would say. All right, ANF. ANF is one of my favorite plays right now. I absolutely love the setup on the stock. We got plenty of room. Grinding lower here. After this earnings move, triple top, we have this descending trend line coming over here. Stock is below its AVWEP-E. That tells us that the average seller is in profit. It's made a nice acceleration today. I think it's going to snap back. This stock has had a massive, massive run. I mean, it's just been absolutely throttling. I mean, it's been one of the best longs for quite some time. Really, ever since, 2023. It's been an absolutely fantastic long. Now it's starting to roll over. And I'm sure we've probably broken through some very major, here's a super major trend line coming up all the way to here. If I were to draw that with not the snap tool, but maybe something like that, right? So there's something like that. We broke through that trend line from a long time ago. This is one of my top shorts. Waiting again for a little bit of a pullback. I want to see it maybe try to test the gap, maybe test the 8 EMA, even potentially test the 200 SMA. That would give me the idea of how the conviction of buyers and sellers, and then we can ride this guy down a lot lower. But really like AMF, and then we already looked at MCD on the long side. So to recap some of my favorite positions here, long side, MMM. One of my favorite longs, ASTS, of course. That has been looking excellent. And MCD. I like all of these stocks on the long side. Again, be very careful on the long side here. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't recommend trading it with any size at all. I would even if you're intermediate or if you're a pro, I guess you're not really watching this video. But if you're an intermediate, I think there are some opportunities for maybe some call debit spreads overnight. And kind of a short-term swing scalp. On the short side, favorite shorts are ANF, Oracle, Wells Fargo, and potentially RCL. Yeah, RCL. SE is also great. VRT is also great. And there's a couple more that are, I don't think have quite set up as much as I would have liked, but are starting to set up. Something like AIG is a great example. MRK is a great example of stocks that can be really great and are starting to set up but are not quite there. You notice that there hasn't been a lot of beaten down stocks in this case. It's because I think a lot of those moves, I'm not saying that they can't go lower, but I'm saying that off of these reversals here, the move is pretty fresh, and we're far closer to that support. So it's kind of finding the sweet spot of trend reversals that have confirmed their weakness kind of before the market move and are moving lower, versus trend reversals that are being kind of dragged down by the market. So there's a sweet spot there in terms of what kind of stocks to get into. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope this was helpful, gave some clues to look at. I think we have some opportunities to take some nice swing shorts for the next month or so. And I am looking to improve my swing trades and bring what I know from my day trading learnings in terms of reading price action, looking for price patterns into swing trading. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will take a look at what's going on in the market on Monday.